Today I'll be talking about a novel that I was recommended by a friend. It's one of those books in a series by Donna Douglas, but I don't think that not reading the other books would detract from the enjoyment of this one in particular. If anything, I think it would probably deepen one's appreciation for it. So this one is called District Nurse on Call, and it tells the tale of a nurse named Agnes Sheridan in 1926 England, who gets assigned to be the district nurse of a mining town called Bowden, with the main event at that time being the general strike from the miners for having had their wages lowered and working hours lengthened by the mine owners. Agnes is the protagonist, and she's portrayed as a determined individual looking to make her mark on the lives of Bowden's inhabitants. She's full of enthusiasm and she's dedicated to make a fresh start in Bowden. However, things don't turn out as simple as she expected them to be. The people of the village are not exactly receptive to newfangled ways that are unfamiliar to them. And so the novel basically journeys Agnes's time in the village, looking into the stories that make up the lives of the villagers and how she very gradually weaves herself into them. We also have Hannah Arkwright, who is the go-to village healer that everybody trusts but is at the same time intimidated by. Hannah is kind of disliked by her mother Nella, who always preferred Hannah's deceased elder sister Sarah over her. Hannah pines after Sarah's widower, Seth Stanhope, and frequently looks after his 3 children. She is definitely characterized as Agnes's nemesis in a way, until towards the end, when the author shows us a beautiful glimpse of them working together towards a common goal that it's just so heartwarming. Then we have Carrie Shepherd, who is married to the coal pit manager James, which places her a little high in the social ladder. But she's also the daughter of a coalman, Eric Wardle, which makes her character, let's say, the most exposed to both worlds, the upper class and the lower class, as precarious as that is. This is also evident by the fact that she still may have feelings for her first love, Rob Chadwick, a popular, charismatic, and handsome boy who happens to be a troublemaker too and actually breaks her heart in the past, which is why she ends up marrying James. James himself now is a character worth getting into, as he is portrayed as, the son who is constantly struggling to live in the shadow of his dead father, Henry. James grapples with his manhood in general and what it truly means to be a good and honorable man. James's nemesis, again, so to speak, is Rob Chadwick himself, obviously, as he poses as a threat to James, considering his romantic history with Carrie and the fact that they also obviously come from the same social class. Then, of course, we have Seth Stanhope, who is one of those characters that undergoes a major development. Seth is the recently widowed miner who was previously married to Hannah's sister Sarah and has 3 children to fend for, Elsie, Christopher, and Thomas. Seth still grieves for his wife, eventually letting the grief consume him and transform him into an absentee father. He's quite proud as a man, as many instances in the novel would show, much to his detriment. Now, Dr. Rutherford is the village doctor who works for the coal mine owner himself, Sir Edward Haverstock. For this reason, Agnes learns that he's practically Sir Edward's minion, to the point that he would refuse to call on certain patients who are averse to the Haverstocks, no matter how urgent the case would be. So theme-wise, we have, of course, old versus new. This theme is represented by the 2 polar opposites, that is Agnes and Hannah, whereas Agnes Sheridan embodies science, the value of education, and the advent of technology and medicine. Hannah Arkwright embodies traditional forms of healing enmeshed in superstition and spiritual practice. Of course, the entire village's initial reaction towards Agnes itself is a testament to that human suspicion of all things new. Thankfully, though, that's not to say that they remain that way, but that they just need time to adjust and to warm up to new developments. Now, another theme is the dichotomy between the rich and the poor, which is demonstrated in numerous forms throughout the novel, and how these two are almost irreconcilable. In fact, one phrase or idea that is repeated throughout is that one will always stick to one's own kind. And we get this in the form of a warning when Dr. Rutherford advises Agnes when she's about to open her new clinic. And also a second time when Sir Edward Haverstock advises James with regard to Carrie, especially in the context of the strike. Yet another picture that paints the dichotomy so poignantly is the now strained, almost awkward friendship between Carrie and her former best friend Nancy. I say former because ever since Carrie went off and got married to the pit manager James and had a child, it's as though she climbed up a rung in the social ladder, and so things just aren't the way that they used to be. There's also that extremely relatable notion of how, no matter well-intended in this context Carrie is, when she wants to buy Nancy the best silk or dress or, fabric or whatever it was for her wedding, that it can always be viewed as charity by Nancy, the receiving party. I think that's such a universal thing that we deal with in our lives and in our relationships. One more theme I found quite essential to the story is how the past comes back to haunt us, whether it comes in the form of actual people making an appearance, such as is the case with Carrie and Rob Chadwick, or even in the form of a persistent memory that leaves an imprint and which controls one's behavior or decisions, like in the case of James, when he is always attacked by the memory of his disapproving father, especially in key moments. Among the things that I found most appealing and which really drew my interest was how Donna, the author, knows exactly just how much to dive into each character's story without it getting too cumbersome with detail. I loved it when she would switch the narrative every so often to show us the different characters' backstories, which really captivated and held my interest. Besides, of course, the plot twists and the shocking revelations. Another noteworthy tool that the author uses, and which I found very purposeful, was the colloquialism in the dialogue. Something as simple as dialogue can easily be a reflection of one's class in society, and that kind of detail is not lost on me. All in all, a very easy and enjoyable read that you won't be able to put down, especially when the action picks up speed halfway through the book, when the strike begins. I would rate the book a 4 out of 5 stars. Until next time, happy reading!